Why you want to give your heart a lift. Welcome to Be Fab, Be You Made Simple, your daily dose of inspiration designed to help you reinvent yourself by optimizing your body and mind. I am Maria Horstman, a health editor and coach, a fitness trainer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur, founder of BeFabBeYou.com. Our episodes are short and will bring you valuable content and practical nuggets for optimal health and fitness that you can implement ASAP. Let's get you to feel fabulous every day. Are you ready? Check out the show notes to 1, schedule a free call with me to discuss a plan to take your health to the next level. 2, submit a question to be featured in our Ask Me Anything episodes on Sundays. Connect with me on social media and much more. Hit the subscribe button, and if you like what you hear, share with your friends and leave it a rating. Why you want to give your heart a lift? Welcome back to the Be Fab, Be You Made Simple podcast. I am extra excited about today's episode, and that's because we are talking about one of my favorite things to do for myself, to teach, to encourage, and to guide people, and that is about moving my fanny. I mean, exercise. Hey, I'm aware that this expression, move your fanny, has a different meaning in the British English. That was brought to my attention by an English friend of mine. But you know what? I'm still using it because I love it. And I borrow it from a registered dietitian that speaks on Dr. Radio about nutrition. She said that, and I love it many years ago. And I'm keeping it. So please pardon my Brazilian English, I guess. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you, and maybe, just maybe, influence your choices when it comes to the modality of exercise you practice every week. I am on a mission to assure that you give your heart a lift at least twice a week instead of actually taking the heart for a ride. Do you get me here? Maria, what the heck does that mean? You might be asking. Well, it's a great question, and I'm glad that you asked that. Well, it simply means that I want you, so does your health, brain, mind, and all your organs, want you to challenge your body with resistance training at least twice a week. This is especially true for my women out there who seem shy grabbing the dumbbells, barbells, and even resistance bands at times. Women more and earlier than men benefit a great deal from resistance training. We're going to be talking about that in the future, so don't worry about it. Just stay tuned to this podcast. So these studies are finally catching up with resistance training and aerobic exercise for the heart, and I'm happy to be here and speak about it. So I added a few images to the video version of this podcast. You can catch the video on my YouTube channel or head out to my website. And on the website, you get the video, you get the images, and you get the transcript with links and sources and citations to this episode. The links to all this is going to be on the podcast show notes. And let me remind you that whenever you're ready to rock and roll and transform your health and fitness, let's do it together. Go to BeFabBeYou.com, BeFabBeYou.com, and schedule a complimentary appointment. I would love to be part of your wellness journey. So are you ready to move your fanny? Let's do it. According to the CDC, 53% of adults age 18 and older meet the guidelines for aerobic activity. 23.2% of adults age 18 and over meet the guidelines for both aerobic and muscle strengthening activity. Wow. The physical activity guidelines for aerobic activity is of 150 minutes of moderate intensity a week or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity. The guidelines for muscle strengthening are of at least 2 or more days a week that you work all major muscle groups. And these are the legs, the back, the hips, the abs, chest, shoulders, and arms. So where do you fall on this? First category, 53. Second category, 23. Or actually none at all. Are you in the sedentary group right now? I'm not here to judge. Absolutely not. This is your journey. This is your life. Yet, I am here to say that you deserve to reach another level of physical and mental capacity by incorporating physical activity on a consistent basis to your calendar. Your beginning point is yours. I always tell my clients, do not compare yourself to anyone. And where you are right now is 100% fine. I don't want you to stay there though. I want you to kind of start moving more and leveraging the benefits of strength training. As a nutrition endocrinology practitioner and fitness trainer, my mission is to get to influence and guide people just like you to use exercise for longevity while maximizing time. We are all freaking busy. That's the number one excuse I hear. Just to talk to somebody, busy, don't have the time. Oh my God, I'm sick and tired of listening to this stuff. We all have the same 24 hours. Go back to the episode that I talk about 24 hours, junk list. You can do this, right? It's just a matter of rearranging your priorities. So I'm going to be bold on this and remind you that there is no wealth without health. Excuse me, but exercise, it is the best free pill yet in the market. And for the most part, is free. Yes, like I said, free. If you want to pay somebody like me, a personal trainer, to get you started, great. That's the way to get you started. Check in once in a while. Fantastic. Use personal trainers for what they do best. Most people think of exercise for weight loss, and they get really discouraged and even give up after going after for some time and not seeing that number on the scale change. Is that you? Have you been there? How many people do you know that simply give up? Oh, I haven't lost weight. That's not working for me. Boy, there is work. The work that is exercise is doing for your body that you cannot see, it's incredible. And just because the scale doesn't move does not mean you're not shrinking in other parts of your body. So first, I bet that most people want to lose fat, especially visceral fat, more than they want to lose weight. Again, losing visceral fat versus losing weight. Where are you at with your expectations? What do you want to do? There is a big difference between weight and fat loss. In fact, I'll talk about this coming forward in the next episodes. For now, let me just say that visceral fat, that is the fat that is stored around several organs in the abdominal area. That is the bad guy, folks. Bad guy. The visceral fat is the kind releasing PRO, inflammatory chemicals, and is also known to be associated with insulin resistance. Oh, there you go. Here comes Maria talking about the freaking insulin resistance again. Yep. Here I am. Blood sugar regulation, insulin resistance are central for overall health or demise of health. My goal is to make you aware of it, help you understand it, and help you beat it. Got it? So what does exercise have to do with all this in heart health? Because in reality, we're talking about heart health here, right? Well, a lot. And I'll offer a lot more details next episode as well. For now, again, exercise is one of the most effective ways to improve insulin sensitivity. And let me remind you that insulin resistance is correlated to what? Obesity, type 2 diabetes, PCOS, hypertension, brain diseases, aging, and so on. Now, does that relate to, heart disease? Yes. Obesity, type 2 diabetes, PCOS, hypertension? Yes. All heart related, right? And more on the relationship between muscle and insulin resistance coming up in the future episodes. So, is there a modality of exercise that is, open quote, better, close quote, than the other? Yes, there is. And remember, I'm here to kind of optimize and maximize your time while you move your fanny, right? But let me back up a little bit and talk about these modalities. I'm referring to aerobic or cardio, resistance training, strength training, high intensity interval training, what's known as HIIT, high intensity functional training, HIFT. It's less common, you probably may or may not have heard about it. So this, aerobic, is cardiovascular conditioning, right? Kind of a type of a brisk walk, running, jumping rope, swimming, cycling, playing tennis. Those are the kind of things that get your heart rate going up. Your resistance training is more related to your body weight, using body weight in free weight. So now you're adding resistance to the movement. You can use bands and weight machines, medicine balls, house items. In the beginning of the pandemic, I did a lot of videos on using house items, and I did some contract work with some companies and doing that kind of stuff and showing to their employees. But anyway, so today I'm focusing on aerobic and resistance training. The physiological adaptations to aerobic and resistance exercise are actually quite different. Aerobic exercise improves the cardiovascular adaptations that increase a peak oxygen consumption without significantly changing strength. Whereas resistance training improves the neuromuscular adaptation that increase strength without significantly changing the peak oxygen consumption. Now, the stats I shared earlier confirm most people or most exercisers are into what? Aerobic exercise and missing out the amazing benefits of resistance training. Now, what are these benefits? Here's what the studies say about aerobic versus resistance training. Resistance training increases muscle mass significantly more than aerobic. The cardio actually, without strength, can slow your metabolism, by losing the lean mass in the body. Resistance training also, with more muscle that you gain, there is a greater area to deposit glucose, which in hindsight, or actually not hindsight, but the results are what? Lower insulin. 80% of post-meal glucose is deposited into muscle tissue. You heard me right, 80%. Minute for minute, the studies confirm resistance training gives you a better return of investment. Holy cow. How many people do you know who love running and rarely grab dumbbells, barbells, or lift weight? Most runners believe their legs are strong and don't need strengthening. The fact that someone is walking, cycling, running consistently is fabulous, since half of the adult American population isn't hitting the guidelines. So yes, that's great news. Yet, the legs of runners are in pretty good shape. And they have what? Endurance. But they're not necessarily strong. Building muscular strength requires a different form of exertion. And a runner's legs aren't used to press a lot of weight like someone doing, weighted squats, lunges, and several other movements. The same will apply to the weightlifter, right? Going for a 5K, likely her legs will fatigue quickly. So both are very important components of fitness and health, and we need them. So the best really is to have what? Both strong legs and endurance. I'll discuss more about this combo of cardio and resistance training next episode when I touch more about the other modalities. I will also dive a little deeper into the relationship between muscle and insulin resistance. Are you ready to give your heart a lift? I hope I have given you a few great reasons to assure you are challenging your muscles at least twice a week. Today, your homework is what? To take inventory. So grab a pen and your wellness journal and answer the following questions for yourself. If it's not for you, okay, answer for your children, for your grandchildren, and the other loved ones in your life who want you to age beautifully and be mentally, cognitive, and physically functional. Got me? Did you hear me right? Okay, so are these questions? Here we go. How often do you exercise a week? How often do you exercise a week? What types of exercise do you perform? Again, what types of exercise do you perform? Number 3, at what intensity do you perform them? At what intensity do you perform them? How long are your sessions? How long are your sessions? And last question is, do you track your exercise activities and the timing that it takes them to be completed? Again, do you track your exercise activities, including what you're doing and the time? I would love to hear your answers to this question. So shoot me an email at info@bfabu.com. And as always, when you're ready to take your health and fitness to the next level, schedule a complimentary session at bfabu.com. Let's discuss where you're at, your goals, what's in your way, and I'll establish a plan of attack and we'll rock and roll together. Have any questions? Submit one at bfabu.com/podcast question. Thanks for listening, for leaving a rating, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the BFABU Made Simple podcast. Can you do me a favor? If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave it a rating. It helps the podcast and I really appreciate it. If you're wondering where to start, head over to my website, linked in the show notes, to sign up to receive encouragement, tips, and strategies to maximize results. While you're there, download a free health guide to get you started today. If you're looking for a coach and trainer to help you optimize your weight, body, and health, get on my calendar. Let's discuss your goals, establish a custom plan, implement it, and celebrate your results. Together, we can do this. Find the link to schedule a free energy audit strategy session also in the show notes. Connect with me on social media. I would love for you to let me know that you're listening to the show. Also see the show notes for the links. In addition to a qualified healthcare practitioner, it's important that you have someone in your corner who is in for you and will help you to plan and stay on track implementing your goals. Are you ready? Let's rock and roll this boat. I will see you on the next episode of BFABU Made Simple. Just a reminder that this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for health care by a doctor or other qualified medical professionals. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.